All right, welcome to Deep State. I'm Nick Hawks. On today's episode, we have Leonard Dorlector, co-founder and chief product officer at Peak. This episode is sponsored by eclipse Labs. Eclipse is building Ethereum's fastest layer 2, powered by the Solana virtual machine. Eclipse brings Solana's performance and scalability with Ethereum's security to get the best of both worlds. You can read more about Eclipse mainnet at www.eclipse.builders. We'll have a little bit more on them later in the show. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things that helps us bring great guests like Leonard to you. Leonard, thanks for coming on, man.
It's a pleasure to be here. I've been following you guys for quite some time and really enjoy the content.
Right on. And we've had your co-founder Max on the show, so it's good to get you as well, especially the kind of chief product officer's view of what's going on. You've had some pretty exciting announcements lately. Let's start with the Bosch thing. What's going on there?
Yeah, so our work with Bosch is actually a couple of years old already. We've been working on different projects, setting standards in the mobility industry for identities, data sharing, and so on. But recently, we were able to excite them for Deepen as well, because Bosch is the biggest sensor manufacturer in the world. And we're all in Deepen, right? We know sensors are super important. I mean, they're also the biggest automotive supplier. So they're a super amazing player to get into Deepen. And on top of that, they are super open to Web3. So they want to build new business models in Web3. And yeah, we had the first device. It's called the Bosch XTK. It has dozens of sensors in it. So you can connect it technically to all kinds of Deepens. And then it can generate data and earn money in different Deepens. So that's been a pretty exciting announcement. And of course, it's just the beginning. Like the goal is really to bring those big players in, create Deepen native hardware, and kind of work from both worlds, Web3 native builders, but also get the enterprises that build the hardware and have the big infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big deal to have these traditional manufacturers come in and, from their perspective, probably take a risk with Deepen. Can you walk me through maybe how you guys have nurtured that relationship over the years and what other things you see coming out in the future?
Yeah, totally. So it's been, we've been connected, I think, 3 years ago, and then saw that we've been both very active in mobility. We've been building a decentralized charging solution in the past with Audi. They've been working on one. So they've been experimenting with blockchain for quite some time. And then there was a big research and development project got started, funded by the European Union, which is called 𝐒𝐮𝐦𝐦𝐚𝐫𝐲, and it has the purpose to create that standards in terms of identity data sharing, so that you can in the future have a smart city where everything has an identity on an open network, everything can talk to each other, identify, transact. And we've been part of that consortium from the beginning, and it is led by Bosch. So there's been quite some work for many years in the past working on those things. And yeah, now we're also collaborating closer and closer on the IoT front, really looking into what can be done, which Bosch hardware is available, which new Bosch hardware might be produced that is Web3 native, Peak native, and in the Deepen context, super exciting because it also shows them how they could build new revenue streams in Web3, right? And yeah, leverage that business
Yeah.
model revolution.
Yeah. No, I got a whole slew of Bosch sensors on the desk behind me. It's been fun to dig into some of what they do. Let's see. So let's kind of go through. Peak has got a bunch of different Deepens running on Peak. You got 𝐒𝐮𝐦𝐦𝐸𝐶, you got 𝐿KRYPT, Wingbits. I think you said there's 12 public ones, and you got a couple top secret projects in the works.
Indeed.
Walk me through kind of what you're thinking of how you connect these traditional manufacturers with these pretty radical new Deepen projects.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good one, because the real disruption comes from the Web3 native builders, right? It's always new startups that kind of create disruptions when there's new technology. So it's never the big enterprises that then create the new innovative winning solutions. So our focus is really on the Web3 native builders to build those Deepens and innovate. But on the other side, we're in Deepen. That means we're dealing with hardware, we're dealing with real machines, we're dealing with infrastructure. You cannot just come up and say, I want to build a car as a Deepen project, right? You need like a massive organization behind that. So our aim is really to come from both sides. So there will be Deepens bringing new hardware to the network, but also working with enterprises to create hardware that enables new Deepen use cases. So really doing our best to bring in those traditional players that create Deepen ready hardware out of the box, where then Deepen builders can come and say, okay, nice, we can build a new business model around that hardware. We can, for example, this Bosch XTK has a noise pollution, has a noise sensor in it. So 𝐒𝐮𝐦𝐦𝐸𝐵 can use it, right? And like that is our goal, really coming from both ends, and making sure we create the best possible Deepen ecosystem for the builders.
Nice. So I was actually going to ask you about 𝐒𝐮𝐦𝐸𝐵 and if you know anything about whatever hardware they might be doing. But it sounds like with this Bosch device they're coming out with, you might be able to do some kind of multi-mining on it. Maybe you're doing not only noise monitoring, but you're monitoring whatever temperature, humidity, movement, any of those things. Is that something that you see that these sensors will enable, like a kind of a multi-mining rig?
Totally. So that sensor has a light sensor, noise pollution, earthquake, all kinds of things. So you could multi-mine, it has a peak identity on it. You could connect it to different Deepens, and then it generates data with the different sensors, at the same time, and provides that to different Deepen use cases. So yeah, totally. And that is the idea, where we're like, cool, this is one device that could be mining data for all kinds of Deepens. You pay, one time, I think it's 150 euros that's a specific device costs, and it's like a industrial grade device, but then you can earn from all kinds of different Deepens. And of course, this is laying the foundation, but 100%, I think multi-mining hardware will be something in the Deepen space.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's take a quick break and we'll talk about today's sponsor, Eclipse Labs. One of the cool parts about doing this show is we talk tons of projects across the space, including back-end nerdy stuff that helps deepen projects. One of those is today's show sponsor, Eclipse Labs, who's building Ethereum's fastest layer 2 to support several deepen projects. Eclipse leverages the best parts of the modular stack: Solana for execution, Celestia for scalability, and Ethereum for security. Eclipse is committed to helping projects build on Deepen. Check them out at eclipse.builders, and check out the interview we did with Neil at Eclipse if you haven't seen it yet. So, Leonard, let's come back and talk a little bit about the benefit of new Deepens working with Peak. You guys have been really crushing on picking up new ones. I think the latest I just saw was Wingbits. What are you kind of offering to them when they pop up on the scene? You're like, hey, maybe you should talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So the cool thing is we've been building a layer 1 for Deepen long before Deepen was a term. So it goes back to our old enterprise cases where we identified, okay, all those applications need identities for machines, role-based access control, data storage, payment, settlement. So we've been building all those backend functionalities all along that are running as smart contracts or so-called pellets natively on the network. So builders can come and simply consume those functionalities, and they don't have to do a lot of the heavy backend work. We've also made a simple JavaScript SDK that makes it super easy, because we realized a lot of Deepens don't have the smart contract blockchain devs on board. So we make it super easy. It's like, hey, the blockchain layer is ready for you to use. All the functionality is there, ready to use. And that makes it super simple. On top of that, we support EVM and Rust smart contracts. So we offer multiple smart contract ways. That is also super cool, because EVM is the default standard, right? And that makes it easy for people to build. Super high scalability, extremely low fees, as low as Solana has to be. Otherwise, that is a knockout criteria. So,
Right.
yeah, like now the next step is, after launching mainnet, of course, attracting a lot of liquidity. We are working on that. We have a strategy, and yeah, our aim is really to provide just the best possible L1 for Deepen builders. And on top of that, we build alongside the Deepens. Like, we work very close with all the teams. We get their requirements. We support them. We build with them. And I think that spirit, convinces a lot of Deepens to choose Peak.
Oh, that's super cool. It's nice. It's kind of what we want to see across the space, is these projects working together as much as they can to the best of their ability. Obviously, there's going to be competition, but wherever we can, we're such a small industry right now. It's like, hey, where can we help each other? Let's see.
Absolutely.
I'll bring up what I think of as like a dirty word now, but this idea of NFTs that got so much press in the last run certainly has some core functionality. Are you guys thinking about integrating NFTs into anything that you do at Peak, or for now are you like, maybe we'll just let that sit on the sidelines?
Absolutely. We've been thinking about a concept called machine NFTs for a very long time, where we're like, okay, how cool would it be to actually tokenize real machines and assets? And there's been a project, a Deepen, or like a Deepen RWA project called eLoop that they have been tokenizing a fleet of Teslas already in production. So people can own a part of that Tesla fleet and earn revenues as those Teslas make money in car sharing. So those are not NFTs directly, but NFTs certainly have a place there. And we really see them as a way to reflect and share ownership of machines, of real assets. And this is the way how we implement NFTs and like really think about machine tokenization. And I think, or we think it's gonna, because those NFTs gonna be backed by real yields, by real revenues, by real machines, not just, speculative, art. I mean, art is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I think there's a different level of substance in getting real revenue streamed to them. So yeah, super excited using NFTs for real world assets.
Cool. Super cool. Let's see. Let's wrap this thing up with, we've got this, it seems pretty clear, and maybe we'll be wrong in retrospect, but it seems pretty clear to me that we're through the worst of the crypto market. Maybe we got a couple more bumps to go, but we're probably starting to see that, maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe you can't see it yet. You see some reflection off of a curve wall. What are you guys doing at Peak where you're like, okay, how do we prepare for this? You've had all these projects have had the last 2 years to build. As you guys are looking forward and advising your projects, what are you kind of getting them ready for, and how are you doing that?
Yeah, I think what's really important now is to have the launch strategy in place, right? Like the time of the token launch, the time of going live is very important in terms of, is the bull picking up? Do you have a nice curve in the token price development? Like those things matter a lot, although they shouldn't matter that much, but they actually do. So really getting the timing right and launching in the right time, raising capital, and really preparing on the technical product front, right, to be ready. Like we were lucky now, our product is completely ready. We're ready to launch, so gearing up for that. And a lot of the Deepens building and the Peak ecosystem have done the same. They've been building hard through the bear market, and now they need to nail their launch strategy. And of course, we pass on knowledge and share our investors and really strategize on when is the best time and how to get that right, because there's a whole art to this.
Oh yeah. And it is more art than science. I mean, I should say, to be super clear, none of this is financial advice. These are just, we're seeing kind of what's going on and making observations for the folks out there who are like, oh my God, I heard you say this and now I'm going to do that. It's like, no, you got to do your own research.
100%.
So, cool. What maybe we wrap it up with, what are the things you're super excited about in, say, the first quarter of next year?
Yeah, so personally speaking, from a Peak perspective, that we're going to launch, like Peak is going to launch the network, the token is going to launch end of Q1, early Q2. So that's going to be the most exciting, most busy time in our history. So that's amazing. And on a general level, I think we've been working on the intersection of IoT and blockchain for 6 years now, before Peak doing the consultancy, and now seeing that things are manifesting, it's happening, like the real world use cases are there. And the adoption is coming, the impact is there, the problems are being solved, super exciting. And I also think it's on a societal level, super important, democratizing access to those new revenue streams. And very exciting about where the space is at.
Super cool, man. Right on. Well, thanks so much for making the time to come on. I know you're super busy. Appreciate you carving out a little bit of time to walk us through what's going on, what's happening, what's coming next. We will hopefully have you back on soon for updates.
100%. Thanks a lot for having me. Pleasure.